Folks, so I've been wanting to install a solar panel on this truck this is my FJ Cruiser for quite a while now, and have worked out with Lensun Solar to install one of their panels on my truck. It's a 105 watt panel, should be plenty for what I need to keep the battery charged, keep the fridge running, and any other little accessory lights or things I have. So today I'm going to install it. You can see I've put down, this is the vinyl cover to prevent any paint problems later on if I decide to remove the panel or anything like that. It protects the paint. And then the panel will go on top of this. You can see I've cut out little holes in here to accept the window washers. And then the panel will go on top of this. So these are kind of rough cut out holes, but the panel will cover that. I'm going to use, I don't have a spray bottle handy, so I'm going to use a sponge and soapy water to lay this down, and then a squeegee to get all the bubbles and wrinkles out. And that will, then I'll let that dry for a bit, and that should be all stuck down and good. And then we'll apply the 2M tape or 3M tape on top of that onto the panel itself, and then lay the panel on top of this, and then run the wiring down through the hood. And so let's get started here. So I gotta get the panel off here. You can see I've marked the corners, and I'm gonna lay this down eventually. That should be enough water there. This is the tough part, getting this whole thing off of here without bending it or putting any creases in it. I just want to do everything nice, even poles. Don't let it stick to itself. Part of the issue here is having a very tall truck. Requires lots of standing on your tiptoes. Okay, so now the trick is repositioning this. My hands are clean. More water will help. Oh. That didn't wrinkle too hard. Again, the good thing about this is that because we have this water underneath it, it's not like laying down a big sticky decal that once you lay it down you can't move it. So water helps us slide this around. Again, they recommend having 2 people do this, and of course, it's because it's such a large panel that it would, of course, be easier to have 2 people do this. Okay. Getting closer here. Getting closer. It's got to go back a little bit. That. This one has to go down a little bit as well. That. I want to make sure that top edge doesn't come too close to the edge of the hood, or that'll be a failure point. There we go. That just comes to the top front edge there. All right, let's see how this goes here. Good. I'm going to work from the kind of the big creases down to make sure it's laying right. This is a good test subject because this is an older hood. This is a 2012 FJ, and it's seen a lot of off-road use, and so the hood isn't in pristine condition. Yeah, you just keep working this. What you want to avoid is creating any hard creases with these bubbles, because then that'll obviously be an imperfection, an obvious imperfection on your hood. And work all the water out from under there too. Same on the other half of the truck now. See the water coming out from the squeegee there. Work with gravity here. That helps, right? Let's see. Try to work this out a little bit more. So, take these off there. Really want to go over it. Make sure you get all the little bubbles out, especially right at the edges. I want to make sure that these edges adhere very tightly to the hood. Any little edges that are sticking up will catch air and eventually peel back. So edges, getting all the water out and getting all the edges down tight against the hood is important. I'm still seeing little droplets of water coming out of here, so you can see I have to work this quite a bit to get it to nice smooth finish. But patience now will pay off later down the road. Good prep and patience. Yeah, I'm still getting water out of here. Not a lot, but little drops here and there. Little bits of water here. You want this to be a soft squeegee. Not too soft, but you want it not to, you don't want it to mar scratch the surface of the vinyl, right? So it's got to be nice and smooth, and this one has like a felt surface on it, and that's what they recommend. But I've done a variety of decals for my trucks, and I know that this works pretty well. You can see there's a few bubbles in it. There's some imperfections in the paint on the hood itself, dings and little things that have sort of embedded themselves in the paint over time. And so those are just gonna have to live there because they're there. They aren't going anywhere. bit of an edge to the hood here. Really got to make sure you follow the contours down and that you get a little bit of water out. I don't know if you can see it on there, but I'm doing this at an angle, and that helps funnel the water out while also smoothing out the vinyl. Still a little bit of water coming out of there. All right, and once I get the 3M tape on here, this will lay on top just like that. Just like that. Press it all down, run these wires between the hood and the cowling there, and yeah, this will be great. This will be really nice. All right. All right, so now I've marked the edges here, back and sides, so that once I put the tape down, I'll just bring it in here like this. Line up those edges right there, and I'll just be able to drop this right down like that. Hopefully. All right. All right, so I'm now at the point of putting the tape on, and you see I've got a little bubble in here, but one of the things you want to be careful of when you're applying this tape is that you don't stretch it too hard in one way or the other. Basically, you want it to lay down on this as evenly and with less stress as possible, because when you deform it and that kind of stuff, you spread out the glue that's in there and it doesn't stick as well. So the less deformation you can do on that when you're putting these down is best. So what I've done here and at these different joints is trying to cut the tape so that it has angles in it to fit these different shapes. Once I get into the middle here, obviously it'll be just straight strips. But that's the biggest concern here. I've left a little gap in the middle here so that when this is over, and if there is any incursion of water inside here, underneath here, it will have a little spot to drain out of. We'll see how well that works. I didn't want too big an air gap in here, but just a little, because this is on the downhill slope of the hood. Yeah, and the next step will be flipping it over and sticking it down. All right, so got all the tape on the back side, and I'm just doing a test fit here to make sure the wiring runs right, and that it all looks good. Take it out. And turn it over. I'm just going to go over all of the tape strips again. Make sure that all the edges are nice and sealed down to the backing here. I did tape around the holes here for the windshield wiper spares, just to seal that area. And there. It's an awful sound. And there. Fingernails on a chalkboard. And then once I flip this over, I'm gonna also, of course, kind of do the same thing on the top of the solar panel to make sure that these are all down solid on the hood. There's a couple bubbles in here. I poked those with my little knife blade to just get that air out, because I want it to be as flush on the surface of the truck as possible. And like I said, I'll gotta take all the backing tape off of here, all this red tape here. And once I do that, I'll show you that next step of laying this down on the hood. All right, well, we are now at the magic moment here. We lay this down. All the tape has been applied and pressed nice and evenly onto one of the issues. All right, so I put all the tape down on this, pressed it all down as good as I can. There's some bubbles I see still here a little bit, but I don't think those should affect it much. All the critical areas seem to be nice and flat around the edges and everything. So I'm just gonna try and lay this down as close to my marks as possible. I forgot to clean it. I want to make sure this whole surface is as dust-free as possible. Okay, so without touching the tape, as little as possible anyways, when I'm grabbing this, I'm grabbing it in between the tape marks, or the tape pieces of tape here. Again, they say that this would be easier with two people, and I agree. You have a buddy, friend that you can, partner that you can coax into helping you on this. You know, offer them a beer or something. That might make this game a little easier. There we go. Okay, I'm going to press down from the center as much as possible. That. Okay. It's all looking pretty good. Again, press down in the center. Okay. And then work my way out. Look at that, right on the line. Perfect. Okay, with this side. I'm using my hand, and you know, you can use a squeegee or something, but you want to make sure it's very soft. You don't want to scratch the surface of your panel well, obviously you don't want to scratch it for looks, but also for functionality, right? The less direct sunlight it's getting, at least in my understanding of how these solar panels work, the less direct sunlight it's getting, the less power it's producing. Let's make sure I can get this tape out of there. I see it's under there just a hair. Yeah. Well, that might be. Oh, that's coming out. There we go. And I've made all these with the assumption that there's going to be a 1/8 inch or so of, it could be off an 1/8 inch or so. This is not a Ferrari, so I'm not worried about the looks as much as the functionality. And so as long as it's stuck in the right spot, it's looking pretty good. Yeah. Putting quite a bit of force on this. right, there you have it. Fairly easy process. I think patience is key in these kind of things because, you know, once it's on there, it's on there, and you don't get a second chance really. You'd have to take the vinyl off and peel the vinyl off the back of the panel. It would just be a whole mess. So, yeah, fairly easy process, and the next part of this will be doing the wiring, and I'll show you guys how I do that as well. So yeah, thanks Lensun Solar for helping me with this, and I look forward to keeping my battery nice and charged, keeping all my toys charged. All right.